Hello everyone. In this session, let us understand the design of an I/O interface. In order to understand the design of an I/O interface, first of all, we need to understand why we do require an I/O interface. We do require an I/O interface for various reasons. We have already gone through those reasons in the previous session. In a nutshell, those reasons are initially, the first one is to convert the data formats from the ASCII format to the binary and vice versa. And the second one is in order to convert the signals from digital to electromagnetic or electromechanical and vice versa. And finally, in order to synchronize the clock, because unless the clock is synchronized, a data transfer cannot happen at all. Now let us understand the design of an I/O interface. But before we get into the design completely, we will understand the components of the I/O interface initially. Let us have a look at the components that are used in an I/O interface. Initially, just understand that here there is a CPU. Let us have a look at towards at this direction. In this place exactly, let us imagine that there is a CPU. So the data formats, rather, the data transfer will be originated from this place, from this position, because we need to imagine that the CPU is here. So the CPU will be able to communicate with the peripheral device by using this I/O interface. So to this I/O interface, to the left hand side, we do have a CPU, and to the right hand side, we do have a peripheral device. So a communication is going to be established by using an I/O interface. Let us see how it is going to happen. The CPU is initially connected to a bidirectional bus buffer. This bidirectional bus buffer will carry the data in any direction, to and from. It can transmit the data from the CPU, and it can also send the data to the CPU. So that is the reason why it is called as a bidirectional data bus. This data bus, of course, carries the data. You can see there is a bus buffer. We will understand about this bus buffer in a short while. What is a buffer? A buffer is a storage unit. When the data is getting transmitted, the transmitted data will initially get stored in this bus buffer before it gets completely transmitted to the peripheral device. So we do have a CPU. By using a data bus, bidirectional data bus, the data will be transferred initially to the bus buffer. Okay, and here this is an interface. This interface, this total interface is going to be controlled by something called a controller. This is the controller of this interface. We will have a look at the controller in a short while and the connections of this controller in a short while. Now let us have a look at the interface. In addition to the actual bus system that is going to be used by the CPU, this interface will have a local bus system. The local bus system is used to transfer the data within the interface. In order to transfer the data within the interface, we do have a local bus. This is the internal bus or local bus, whatever you call, which is essentially used to transport the data to and from the locations within the interface. Now have a look at the registers that are used by the interface. Every interface is equipped with a few registers. Namely, first one is a transmitter register, second one is a control register, third one is a status register, and the fourth one is a receiver register. We will understand the functions of each and every register again in a short while. Let us understand the components. Let us be comfortable with the components that are used in the interface. Then this transmitter register is connected to something called a shift register, and this receiver register is also connected to something called a shift register. Whenever we are going to transmit the data from the CPU to the peripheral device, the data will get transferred from the CPU to the transmitter register. Once again, if you want to transmit the data, that is from the CPU to the peripheral device, let us say I want to make a transfer from the CPU to the printer. So the data will get transferred from the CPU to the printer, which is an output transfer. So when the data is being transmitted as an output, the output data will get transferred initially to the transmitter register. From the transmitter register to the shift register, the data will get transferred. Finally, from the shift register to the printer, eventually the data will get transferred. On the other hand, of course, receiver register also works similarly, functions similarly. Initially, let us say there is a keyboard. When the keyboard wants to send the data to the CPU, initially the data from the keyboard will get transferred to this shift register, which is connected to the receiver register. Once after the data has been accumulated within the shift register, once after the data has been accumulated from the keyboard to the shift register, the total value of the shift register which is received by the keyboard will get transferred to this receiver register. From the receiver register to this internal bus, from the internal bus to the bus buffers, from the bus buffers to the CPU, eventually the data will get transferred. This is the initial simple mechanism you need to understand in order to get how the data is going to be transmitted and received by the CPU to and from the peripheral devices. Now let us understand the various other mechanisms that are required in order to have this transfer done. There is a control register, which is another register in addition to the transmitter register and receiver register. And in addition to receiver register, transmitter register, and control register, we do have a status register. And in addition to all these things, we do have two special components in order to monitor the data that is going to be transmitted and the data that is received. One is called transmitter control and clock, and another one is called receiver control and clock. When the data is being transmitted from the CPU to the peripheral device, this controller, this transmitted controller and clock is going to monitor this transfer. Similarly, if the data is being received, the data that is being received will be monitored and controlled by this receiver controller and clock. Now let us understand the exact functions in which the data is going to be either transmitted or received by the CPU. Now let us understand that. Let us take an example that the CPU is making a transfer. That is, from the CPU to the printer, a transfer is being made. The first and foremost thing that you need to understand is the CPU is the fastest device. There is no other device in the entire world can match the speed levels of the CPU when it comes to the fast. The rate at the CPU works is far faster than the rate at which the peripheral devices work. So CPU is the fastest device. Being a fastest device, it obviously transmits the data at a faster rate. But at the same time, when the data is being transmitted to the peripheral device is not capable of receiving the data at the rate that is being transmitted by the CPU. CPU transmits the data very fast, and on the other hand, the peripheral devices are going to receive the data very slower indeed. So for that reason, we are going to use these bus buffers. So this I/O interface, you can understand, can receive the data from the CPU at one rate and transmit the data to the peripheral devices at another rate. Similarly, this same I/O interface is going to receive the data from an input and output device at one rate, and it is going to transmit it to the CPU in another rate. So I/O interface is more than capable of establishing a communication medium in between a faster device and a slower device. So the CPU transfers faster and the peripheral devices receive slower. For that, we are going to use a bus buffer. This bus buffer are of some size. Let us say this bus buffer can store 100 words. I will write it here. Let us say this bus buffer can store, let us say, 1024 words. So CPU starts its transfer. When CPU starts its transfer, word by word, it will get accumulated in the bus buffer. Right after 1024 words are accumulated completely in the bus buffer, then the data is ready to be transferred to the peripheral device. Then from the bus buffer to the transmitter register by using an internal bus, the data will get transferred. Right after all the data words are stored in the bus buffer, then word by word will get transferred to the transmitter register by using the internal bus system of the I/O interface. Now let us understand the mechanism. Bus buffer completely accumulate all the total 1024 words that are needed to be transferred to the peripheral device. Now, the first word will have to get transferred to the transmitter register. But for that, this IO interface need to identify if the transmitter register is free or not. If the transmitter register already held the data, one more data word cannot be sent to the transmitter register unless the word which is in the transmitter register completely transferred to the peripheral device. For that reason, it is going to use the status register. This status register is of 4 bits in size. The size of the status register is 4 bits, in which 2 digits are going to show the status of transmitter register and receiver register. The most significant digit is going to show the status of the transmitter register. If it is 0, transmitter register is empty. If it is 1, the transmitter register has already got one data element. One more data element cannot be transferred to the transmitter register if the transmitter register is full. How we are going to identify if it is full or not? By looking at the corresponding bit in the status register. That is the most significant digit in the status register is going to show the status of the transmitter register. If it is equal to 1, the transmitter register is full. If it is equal to 0, the transmitter register is empty. So when a data word has to be transferred to the transmitter register, interface will check with the first digit of the status register. If it is equal to 0, then fine. From the bus buffer, the data element, rather data word, whatever you call, will get transferred to the transmitter register via internal bus. If it is already 1, that means the transmitter register already held the data. So one more data element cannot be transferred. So the interface will wait till this bit becomes 0. So let us understand that this is 0 already. When this is 0, then the data word will get transferred to the transmitter register, after which interface ensures that the first bit will be set to 1, so that no more word will get transferred to the transmitter register unless the currently transferred word into the transmitter register completely got transferred to the peripheral device. Now, the transmitter register has got a data word, after which interface sets this most significant digit to 1. Okay. Now, from the transmitter register to the peripheral device, we need to send. For that, we do require a shift register. You know that the shift register is going to transmit the data one after one. That is, bit by bit. I beg your pardon. Transmitter register, from the transmitter register to the shift register, data word will get transferred. But from the shift register to the peripheral device, we are going to transmit the data bit by bit. For that, we use a shift register. Why should we transmit the data to the peripheral device bit by bit? Very simple reason. That is, the computer system uses a bus in order to make a transfer in between the locations within the computer system. That is, computer system has several registers, the CPU has several registers and main memory locations. In order to make a transfer in between register to register, or register to the main memory, or main memory to the main memory, or main memory to the registers, the computer system, the CPU, is going to use a bus system. By using the bus system, the transfer is going to happen parallelly. What is parallel transfer? Let us understand about a parallel transfer in a nutshell. We have already seen and understood about the registers within the computer system. Let us say these are the 2 registers that want to exchange the data among them. For that, we do use a bus system. Initially, let us say this is R1 and this is R2. Initially, R1 is going to make a transfer to the bus system, and from the bus system to the R2, the transfer is going to be made. Now here you can understand, all the bits will get directly transferred from R1 to R2 by using this bus system parallelly. All it takes is just one clock cycle. Within one clock cycle, R1 will be able to send all the bits to R2 parallelly. That is, let us say R1 and R2 are of 8 bits each. All the bits will get transferred to its corresponding bits in the R2. First bit to the first bit, second bit to the second bit, third bit to the third bit, similarly nth bit to the nth bit. This is called a parallel transfer. In order to establish a parallel transfer, in order to get this parallel transfer done, we do require a bus system. Bus system makes this transfer happen in a parallel fashion. But if you can have a look at the wire that is connecting to a printer, that wire, that specific wire which connects the CPU to the printer, doesn't have any bus system at all. It is a single line. We don't have a bus system in this wire. If you do have a single line, the single line either can transmit a 0 or a 1. So that is the reason why when a data element is being transferred from CPU to peripheral device, then this data transfer should happen bit by bit. That is the reason why we use a shift register here. Only a shift register will be able to transmit the data bit by bit. So this is the mechanism of transmitting the data. Initially, when the CPU wants to make a transfer, all the data words that are needed to be transferred will be located in the bus buffers, because CPU transfers and transmits very fast. But the peripheral device cannot receive the data at this rate which is transferred by the CPU. So initially we use a bus buffer. After bus buffer is full, IO interface then will examine the first bit of the status register. If it is equal to 0, then the data word will get transferred to the transmitter register. After the data word transferred to the transmitter register, then the transmitter register value will get transferred to the shift register, because the data has to be transferred to the peripheral device serially, because in order to communicate with the peripheral device, we don't have a bus system, rather we do have only single line. For that, we use a shift register. All the bits of transmitter register will get transferred to the shift register. Once after the shift register is completely accumulated, then bit by bit will be transferred to this single line. By using this line, CPU will be able, rather, interface will be able to transmit the data to the printer. This is the output transfer that is going to take place in between CPU and the peripheral device by using an interface. In the next session, we will have a look at the input transfer, how that is going to happen. Thank you.